Okay, so this is just a short video on how to install a Windows Server. So please do follow instructions as much as practical. Now in week 0, there was a video talking about virtualization in the concept and what all it does and how it works and how we end up choosing VirtualBox as ours. You don't have to use that. If you want to use Hyper-V or somebody else, that's okay. But the rest of the course is going to assume you're using VirtualBox. And in this week, we had a video on installing VirtualBox, and please do just pay attention to how that all worked. All right, the first thing we need to do, of course, is to go in and download the files that we need. So we're going to go to Azure DevTools for Teaching. Come in. And there we are, Azure DevTools for Teaching. I'm going to sign in. All right. Okay, and I'm going to go directly to the software thing. I don't want to read all the rest of that stuff. Now, these things are not in alphabetical order, so it's rather annoying. So I'm just going to type Windows, and I'm going to type 10 first to find the version of Windows 10. Now, we're not using Windows 10 today, okay? But I want this Windows 10 Education version 22H2, okay? And so I need to download that guy, and at the same time I need you to get the key. So you press this, get the key, copy and paste it someplace else, save it in a text file so you can use it later. All right, cool. Then I'm going to go back to here and type in server, and it's not immediately clear, but I want this guy called standard. And so just like that, I need to download this guy, and this time I do need to do the key. So I'm going to hit the little thing here, and then I'm going to light this guy up and put him in my paste buffer and store him away someplace safe. Okay, now we just have to wait for the downloads. Okay, all the files are downloaded and we're ready to fire up VirtualBox. So we double click on VirtualBox and up pops this. Now I've got an awful lot of these guys already up and running. You probably won't, but I'm going to go ahead and hit the new button here. Okay, and so I'm gonna give mine a descriptive name that makes sense to me from VirtualBox, but I'm gonna call mine 4376 server. Okay, cool. Now I have mine going to a D drive, and you might want to change that. You might consider changing this to like an external drive. Let me explain. If you have a machine that's robust to handle both a server one running simultaneously with the Windows 10, which we're not doing yet, well, then you don't have any trouble. But on the other hand, if you have a somewhat wimpy machine, you might put it on an external hard drive, a USB hard drive, so you could take it to some other machine that is more robust that can handle things. That's really your choice. I'm going to leave mine the way it is, but just some obvious choices. So I'm going to go down here to going to my downloads. I'm going to grab my guy I just finished downloading, and it should figure it out. It figured out, yep, that's exactly what we're doing. I'm going to hit skip unattended. That's very important. Let's go to the hardware. Now, I recommend in the lecture notes to use 3K. I have a machine that's big enough that I can give it a little bit more. I'm going to go for 2 CPUs. And the hard drive, let's go ahead and make it 64 just to give us a little bit more wiggle room. Okay, so all the rest of this is normal. I'm going to hit that now. We're going to make some tweaks, so we're not ready to go yet. All right, so here we go. So advanced, I'm going to go ahead and turn on both the bidirectional and for drag and drop and clipboard. If you could type it in the description, say, for class, such and such, such and such. Processor, I'm going to leave that just the way it is. Motherboard, this is the boot order, that's fine. TPM, we are going to have TPM because Windows 11 and or Server 22 is going to be expecting that TPM chip. For the video memory, look, we're not doing any games or anything, so 128 meg is just fine. I only have one monitor, of course. And here's what the controllers are going to do. And enable audio, yes. Now, when we first fire it up, audio services are going to be turned off because typically Windows servers don't have audio services because there's no speaker, right? Network, we're going to leave this at NAT to begin with. Later, we are going to change that. Okay, I don't need any serial ports, for God's sakes, but I do need USB ports. And let's go ahead and set this thing up to allow me to copy files back and forth. Now, you need some path on your honest-to-God real machine where you can put this. I put mine in a one called temp, okay? And it's just one of those things where, a convention of mine where I put stuff. But I have a folder on my C drive called temp. It doesn't matter what it is, just call it something. And then I'm going to say auto mount. And what this means is every time we fire up this guy, he's going to see drive Z as the temp folder on my host machine. Very cool. The only other thing we need to talk about is where is the host key. Now, by default, it's going to be the right control key, okay? Except in my machine, I have a Microsoft Surface, and the keyboard doesn't have a right control. So I changed it to right alt. But right control, it's kind of out of the way, but that's cool. All right, so now we're actually ready to fire this guy up. So let's start this guy. Okay, so pretty straightforward that we're going to be using this. We hit the button. Okay, so I'm ready to install now. And I have to type in my license, doggone it. Alrighty, ready to rock and roll. I want the desktop experience guy. That's very important that you pick that one. I accept the license agreement, of course. And I don't know why there's two choices here because I don't have anything installed. I have a brand new device that hasn't had anything going on. So now we're off and running. I'm going to pause the video to get this thing going. Okay, and it comes up and says, we're done. Would you like to restart? Yes, please. I'm not hitting any key because I do want it to boot up off of the drive. That makes sense, right? A lot of blank time there. Okay, one more time. Nope, not going to press the boot to boot off the CD. And finally, we'll end up at the familiar login prompt. Now, I remember unlike Windows machines, well, hang on. So I'm going to give it a super memorable password. I use CIS4376 with the current year. That way, if we run across these things sometimes later, I go, wait, what class was that? Well, that was CIS4376, and it was during 2025. You can make up your own, doesn't matter. I'm just what I'm doing. Finalizing my settings, and we're up and running. Now, unlike at home, you're going to have to do the Control-Alt-Delete thing, but you can't do Control-Alt-Delete on your host. You're going to have to do it on the virtual. So, remember the host key? Okay, so I'm going to go in here and just have this thing do it. So it's host delete, but I'm just going to go ahead and click on this guy to log me in. And a super secret password, CIS 4376 2025. Oh, what? Okay, let's try it again. CIS 4376 2025. I guess I just fat fingered it. Okay, cool. Alrighty. Now, it should pop up and say, hey, I've never seen this network before. Would you like to turn on network discovery? It's not critically important, but I'm going to say yes. And I don't want to try anything in Azure today, so thank you, close. Now, what we popped into is the server manager. Now, this is very useful for us right now, but after a while, it's going to be annoying, as every time you log in, you're going to get this thing. We do need it right now, but I'm just telling you, after a while, it's going to get annoying. So I'm going to go to local server. We're going to make some changes. First thing, I don't like this this thing that they came up with for the name. So I'm going to go ahead and hit that button. I'm going to hit the the change button here, and I'm gonna change my. I didn't ask for anything. Leave me alone. What I want to call it server 1. Now you can call yours anything you want, but I'm going to be calling this server 1 in all the scripts we write, all the things we tweak. I'm going to call it server 1, server 1, server 1. So it might make sense for you to call it the exact same thing that I'm doing. And I'm going to use a work group called lab. No particular reason, just something. Okay, this takes a couple seconds. I don't know why. It'll pop up and say, welcome to the lab. Okay, cool. It'll also come up and say, hey man, you need to reboot. Well, yeah, I'll do that, but not right now. Okay, so I'm going to say reboot later. There's a couple of things we need to do. One of the things we need to do is we need to change the time zone, since we don't live in the Pacific. At least I don't. I don't know about you guys. But I live in not Central America. Dang. Central Time. Okay, that's one thing we need to do. The other thing is this thing called IE Enhanced Security Configuration. Normally, you would leave this alone because in a normal security environment, you don't want people going to the Windows, Explorer kind of a thing. I'm sorry, the Edge or Chrome for that matter, and going off to strange places. So they have this thing locked down to only Microsoft sites, and that's going to be annoying for us. So we're going to change it, but that's not always the case. Okay, cool. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and do another install. So we're kind of sort of done with this. I'm going to go ahead and close them down. Now, we owe it a reboot, but not just yet. We're going to install the VirtualBox extensions. So if you go to Devices, there's a thing that says Insert. Now, in a normal machine, this would pop up and say, hey, we got a new drive, and what do you want to do with it? But this is server. We don't do things like that on server. So I'm going to hit the Explorer button, and I go down to my D drive. And I'm going to click on Windows Box Editions. And so I'm going to accept the defaults. There's nothing going on here. Okay, now I'll reboot. Okay, we're back. This time I'm going to hold down the control key on my keyboard and do host, which is host delete, right? Cool. And I'm going to type in CIS4376 2025. Cool. All right, and now I'm back up and running. Okay. So I'm not dealing with the server manager right now, so I'm just going to minimize that guy to get him out of the way because that's not what we're doing. All right, cool. So let's go ahead and clean up a little bit. Right now we have a CD in our CD drive. So I'm going to eject that guy. So I'm going to go to Devices, Optical, there we go, slowly. And I'm going to say remove, doink, so that won't ever come up again. Okay, so we're coming up on the 15-minute mark, so you guys know how this works. Let's pause for this and pick it up in just a minute.